Hi, welcome back to My Mom Life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today we're making gingerbread. Here are all of our ingredients that we need to make this gingerbread. I'm going to use sugar and flour. I have some vanilla flavoring, cinnamon, ginger, and cloves, 1 egg, salt. We're gonna need some molasses, applesauce, some baking soda. I have some hot water here, 1 cup of really hot water, and then 1 stick of butter. That's all of our ingredients. Now let's throw this gingerbread loaf together. All right, I went ahead and grabbed my stand mixer. I thought that this would just be the easiest way to do it. You could use a hand mixer if you wanted. You could probably even mix this by hand, but I am all about easy. So what I'm gonna do is throw my butter and sugar into the mixer. We are going to beat it until it is nice and light and fluffy. So I have my 1 stick of butter there, and to that I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of white sugar. Okay, my butter and sugar are blended together nicely. So now we want to add the egg and molasses. So just 1 egg. And we need 1 cup of molasses. Now we're gonna mix this together, and then we will scrape down the sides halfway through. And then once that is mixed together, we're gonna add in our cinnamon, ginger, cloves, salt, and baking soda. Okay, I have that mixed in pretty good. So now I'm gonna add in the seasonings, the spices. I need 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then we need 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. We need 2.5 cups of flour, so I'm gonna add that in a little at a time, and then once the flour is added in, that is when we're gonna add in our applesauce, vanilla, and hot water. So I'm gonna turn this back on and add our flour in a little bit at a time. Now that our flour is fully incorporated, except for the little bits right here, I'll scrape those in if they don't get mixed in. I will add in the hot water slowly, and then 1/2 cup of applesauce. That is just to keep this gingerbread nice and moist. And then I'm just also gonna add in a splash of vanilla. A little tip for you is just to add in 1/2 of your water and then measure another 1/2 cup of applesauce just in the same measuring cup, just so that you're not dirtying another measuring cup, and it kind of thins out the applesauce and it's gonna be easier to add in. Okay, now that we have our batter done, I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I greased and lined my loaf pan. This to me looks like more batter than what is gonna fit in my loaf pan, but we will see. The recipe says that it makes 1 loaf. This happens to me. I don't know if my loaf pans are smaller. We'll see. I'm gonna just add in what I think should go in. We might have just a mini loaf left over. Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna add all of it because it will overflow on me. I've had it happen before. So I'm going to fill it about 3/4 of the way full. I will bake up a small loaf with what I have left. And I'm gonna pop this in a 350-degree oven for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. If I start noticing that the edges are getting a little dark, I'm gonna tent it with some foil and I will pull it out of the oven and show you what it looks like when it's all done baking. Then we're gonna make a cream cheese icing that goes on top. It's gonna be so yummy, just wait. Okay, I decided instead of making another loaf, like a mini loaf, I'm gonna make some little mini muffins, and I will let you know how that turns out. Don't mind my pan, it is well loved. This is clean, it's just that way, I don't know. Once my gingerbread came out of the oven, I let it cool and I started making the cream cheese frosting that we're gonna put on top. So I have half a block of cream cheese and we're gonna need some powdered sugar. I also added a splash of vanilla just because I always had vanilla whenever I'm baking anything. So I went ahead and microwaved my cream cheese for about 30 seconds just so it was super soft, and I stirred it just to make sure it was nice and smooth before adding the powdered sugar so we didn't get a lumpy frosting. And then I added in about 1.5 cups of powdered sugar to my half a block of cream cheese and gave that a stir. You want to just keep on stirring this. It will come together, I promise. You don't want to add any extra liquid. I did have my milk out just in case I wanted to thin it out, but you don't need any extra liquid. This will come together and be a nice frosting for you. So I added in that splash of vanilla, gave it another stir, and then once it was all incorporated, I set it aside and let my gingerbread get nice and cooled off before I added this. Otherwise, it's just going to melt off of our cake. Here is our completed gingerbread and our little muffins. The muffins actually turned out great. I cooked them at the same temperature, 350, for about 10 to 12 minutes. until they were set, and then I pulled them out and let them cool in the pan, popped them out of the pan, and they were great. My kids loved them, and I just dusted on some powdered sugar, but you could just leave them plain too. They were great that way. This gingerbread is absolutely delicious. I hope you try this recipe. Don't forget, it is in the description box if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you subscribe and stick around, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye, guys.